Chari and my sister, Dr. Chari. So I'd like to welcome you all here today and for incredible presentation. Today we're going to be talking about 5 tips to boost your immune system. But before we do that, I'd like to introduce Mama Chari. So I'm going to introduce her right now. So here is Mama Chari.
Namaste. Welcome to our Chari Center Health Hour. We just are launching a new program today, and Dr. Chari will be talking about the health. Deepak Chari will be talking about the emotions, and I'll be talking about the uh, food and nourishment and nutrition and lots of things. And also, I came to this country 60 years ago, so I have tremendous experiences and knowledge from both countries. So I'll be sharing with all of you all these wonderful health tips and health and nutritious uh, uh, meals and wonderful recipes, the old fashioned, my grandmother's Ayurvedic recipes, very, very valuable. And we are all looking forward to share with all of you and welcome you all again for this wonderful Chari Center Health Hour. I know you will enjoy it, and I know we are going to enjoy sharing with all of you. And welcome you all again, and have a wonderful hour. Thank you, and God bless you all. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. So I hope you enjoyed that introduction by Mama Chari. So fantastic. So today I'm going to be starting out by talking about the first tip for in boosting your immune system to improve your immune system, and that is to manage your stress. Today we're in such a stressed environment with everything going on today in our environment, as you probably are all aware. And one of the key areas that cause stress is the stress and anxiety of emotions. And what that causes to happen is it causes us to have trouble sleeping. We're often tossing and turning at night, and we can't get to sleep, or even when we're sleeping we're wide awake at 3 a.m. with our eyes wide open, and we're tossing and turning in our bed and just trying to count things and go to sleep, but we're not able to. And what happens there is that we're exhausted the next day. It's hard for us to function, and we even get sugar cravings. So we kind of sneak to the fridge and start grabbing things and wonder why we're eating them, to kind of crave because of these cravings that come up. And then the next day at work, when we work at our offices, we're totally stressed out and burned out, and any little thing will just completely stress us out, every little thing. And that's because of all the chemical reactions that go on in our brain, starting from our brain all the way to our adrenals. The hypothalamus activates the pituitary gland, which activates the adrenal gland and starts this huge rush of cortisol in our body, which causes all this inflammation in our body. And our body gets used to it, thinking that's normal and that's how it should always be, but it's not. It's like the animals in the wild. They're always running away from predators, but then it's calm again. But for us, we're always running away from the saber-toothed tiger all the time, and our body gets used to this uh, advanced cortisol, and that makes us more immune and susceptible to other things around us, like illnesses, diseases, and sicknesses. So that is how stress affects us. So next, my sister will be talking about the second way that stress affects us, that to boost your immune system. But before we do that, I'm going to give you a tip to how to manage your stress, because I'll leave you with something that can help manage your stress, and that is through breathing. We can go without eating or drinking for a long period of time, but not without breathing for more than a couple minutes. So there's a breathing technique that can really help reduce that stress. The way you do this is to breathe out completely, and then breathe in through your nose for about 4 seconds, hold your breath for about 7 seconds, and breathe out through your mouth for about 8 seconds. And repeat this 3 to 4 times. And you can do this several times a day or even every hour, which I encourage, and which will definitely help you to sleep, which will then rejuvenate you. So let's go through this together, okay? Let's go ahead and breathe out completely. And breathe into your nose for 4 seconds. Hold your breath for 7 seconds. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And breathe out to your mouth for 8 seconds. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now you're going to repeat this for 3 to 4 times. Let's do one more cycle. Breathe out completely. Breathe into your nose for 4 seconds. 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004. Hold your breath for 7 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And breathe out to your mouth for 8 seconds. There you go. Don't you feel better already? Fantastic. So that's a tip you can take with you. And we'll have more tips along the way since we'll be doing the Chari Center Health Hour every Friday. Okay? So now I'll introduce my sister, Dr. Chari, and she'll be talking to you about the second tip for reducing stress. And I'd like to introduce her to you right now. So here she is, Dr. Chari.
Thank you, Deepak, and thank you all for being here today. We're very excited to launch our first Chari Center Health Hour, and we're excited to bring you all the latest tips and natural solutions and remedies for your health concerns. And we address both the physical body and the emotions because we consider every one of you as a holistic being. Yes, we need to address our physical body, and there's so many ways that we can do that, but the emotions are equally and sometimes, frankly, even more important. And even the Centers for Disease Control many years ago said up to 90% of all doctors' visits can be due to stress related illnesses. And speaking of stress, I know in this current day and age, most of us are under tremendous amounts of stress. And so much is unknown, and our entire world has been literally turned upside down. So it's natural that you'll be feeling stressed, but we want to give you ways to cope with it and to keep your immune system nice and healthy and strong. So thanks again for joining us here today. Again, my name is Dr. Chari, and with my brother Deepak Chari and our mother Mama Chari, we have the Chari Center of Health as a family business for over 21 years. And today, again, we're talking about the 5 top ways to boost your immune system. And my brother had addressed tip number 1, which is managing your stress, and showed you how stress actually affects your adrenal glands and causes you to produce stress hormones such as cortisol. And when your stress hormones are elevated for long periods of time, that's when we see a lot of the issues that we're seeing in this current day and age because of how our brain then affects literally every other part of our body. But remember, it's the emotions that are really driving most of the time the signals from our brain to our pituitary gland and then to all of our endocrine or hormonal glands in our body and how we manage and deal with stress. But know then, equally important so is that you are in the driver's seat. And by shifting your perceptions with powerful yet simple techniques, but the key is to actually do them. And we remind ourselves to do them, believe me. And it's, every day we have to keep making sure that we're taking care of ourselves, nurturing ourselves, resting, and making sure now more than ever that health is your number one priority. So, moving on to tip number 2, which is a healthy diet. And I know we've spoken about, and you must have heard about this many times from many other practitioners and many other speakers and books and so on. But a healthy diet is the foundation for your well being. I can't emphasize that enough. It is the foundation. Food is the foundation of life. And what may have happened recently with everything that has taken place is a lot of people may be eating more processed foods, or just to kind of to make it easier, or because they weren't able to go to the grocery stores or things of that nature. But I can't emphasize enough, you must go to your grocery stores and you must buy bags and bags of wonderful healthy veggies, and ideally organic as much as possible. And I know it's not a perfect world in the sense of even organic will may have, residues from other pesticides, herbicides, and fungicides, but still it is much better than the regular conventionally grown produce. But no matter whether it's organic or conventionally grown, you need to be sure to wash the produce very thoroughly. And there's wonderful biodegradable soaps that you can use to really clean your veggies as much as you can, and then also then to prepare home cooked meals. So preparing home cooked fresh meals is also extremely important. And you can make stews and keep them for several days at a time, but whatever is convenient for you. But no matter what, remember that even though cooking and cooking more often may seem like an additional thing on your to do list, it's the most foundational skill that you can use. And by healthy foods, what do I mean by that? I mean simply veggies and fruits should be the mainstay of what you buy, and then wonderful fats and oils, and then organic meats whenever possible. Because if the animals are given, feed that isn't healthy and not something that they would naturally consume, the animals get sick, and then ultimately, as humans, then we'll get sick. So, organic whenever possible. I can't emphasize that enough. And the healthy fats and oils are critical. So, now I will move on to tip number 3 to boost your immune system. So, that tip is vitamin C. And there's many different places that you can get vitamin C. It's in so many of our fruits and our vegetables. A lot of times we think it's only in citrus fruits, and we have a beautiful chart here that shows you can get vitamin C. Some great sources are Brussels sprouts, oranges, lemons, and limes, chilies, believe it or not, and blackberries and berries in general are so nutritious. Strawberries, we tend to minimize strawberries because more and more people have been having sensitivities to them. But cabbage, black currants, guava, kale, papaya, and papaya is also wonderful to help with your digestion and has wonderful enzymes in them. Broccoli, and broccoli is so nutritious as well and helps your liver detoxify. Then you have cauliflower, mangoes, zucchini, pineapple, and vitamin C has so many benefits. It even is beautiful and helps for your skin, gives you beautiful skin. It can also help you prevent cancer and help various processes in your immune system to help your soldiers in your immune system work that much more efficiently, and also helps with the communication of information from different parts and aspects of your immune system so everything flows much smoother. So you may have been hearing about that. So you may be wondering also, okay, so I can get it from my fruits and my veggies, but what about supplements? And yes, supplements are also very important for getting all of your nutrition. And one of the best sources of vitamin C is liposomal vitamin C. And at first, it was difficult to find those liposomal vitamin C, whether at the health food stores or online, because people were buying it up so quickly. But it's one of the best sources in the sense it's more easily absorbed, so your body can use it right away. And vitamin C is a water soluble vitamin, which means that your body clears it, fairly quickly, and so it needs to be replenished. So another tip again is wonderful vitamin C. So then now we're going to move on to tip number 4 out of the 5 tips for quickly boosting your immune system. And that is to exercise in fresh air, excuse me, to exercise in fresh air. That's a smart thing to do. And there's another doctor who actually called it activity snacks. Now, I don't know if any of you have ever heard that before. Have you ever heard exercise being referred to as quote unquote activity snacks? I think it's fantastic because it's a great way to literally shift our perception on how we view exercise. And from the American College of Sports Medicine, Dr. Richard Simpson, he said that activity snacks could be something as simple as going for a relaxing walk or just going up and down the stairs. Remember, it doesn't have to be anything major and whether you have equipment or not. But the main thing is getting some exercise or activity snacks. So one of the best ways to do this, of course, is always getting fresh air. So please, we can't emphasize this enough, is to be sure to get outside with your loved ones, your dogs, and get some fresh air whenever possible. We can't overemphasize this enough how important it is for you to boost your immune system, to get outside, get fresh air, and go for those beautiful walks, get that sunshine, because exercise does so many things. One, it is a great way to relieve stress. It helps break up the stress hormones because, as my brother was mentioning, with animals, what happens is they first, let's say, we'll take deer for example. When they're eating their grass, going about their day, they're very relaxed and their stress hormone levels are low. And then what happens is they see a tiger. Their stress hormone levels shoot up, and then that gives them all of the energy, which then goes to all of their muscles to be able to escape and run away as quickly as possible from that tiger. So then, so the stress hormone levels go up and they stay up for a period of time. But then, when they feel that they're safe, another patch of grass is there, their stress level goes down when the tiger goes away. And then they're going back and eating their grass and going about their day. So it goes up, it's leveled, it goes up, stays there until they're in a safe zone and goes back down again. But what's been happening with us in general with our 21st century world, and especially now with everything that's been happening in our current world events, is that our stress levels not only are going up, but they're just staying up and they're not going down. And when cortisol levels are elevated in the body for a long period of time, that leads to actually more inflammation and can then lead to actually the body going through more of a breakdown process versus rebuilding process. And like we breathe in, breathe out. There's night and there's day. The body is constantly being rebuilt and then being broken down and being regenerated and renewed and refreshed. So, but when we're constantly in that heightened state of stress, constant state of alertness, then the body is not able to really regenerate and heal as efficiently. So, exercise is a wonderful way to release these stress hormones, and that's part of nature, and bring those hormone levels down and help you regenerate, rejuvenate, increase your circulation, increase your oxygenation. And the higher levels of oxygen that you have, that's very helpful for your body to clear underlying infections. That's nature's way of doing so. So be sure to get outside every day in fresh air and sunshine. And we're moving to a beautiful time of year all across the country. So please take advantage of that. And so now that brings me to tip number 5, which is vitamin D and K2. Now, you may be wondering about supplements, but I'm going to remind you that one of the best sources of vitamin D comes from nature itself. Sunshine, the best capsule of vitamin D you could ever get is from nature herself, which is sunshine, because the beautiful sun helps your body to produce vitamin D. So that's why, again, I can't emphasize enough the importance of getting outside. And the ultraviolet rays of the sun are also very healing and nurturing and protective for us from different bugs. So, but a lot, we will still in this current day and age need to, for most of us, need to supplement. So you'll need to talk with your doctor and have them check your vitamin D levels. And in general, the average range, which they say is good, is between, let's say, 40 to 60. But again, you'll need to discuss that with your doctor. It also depends on what medications you're on, your levels, how well you're actually absorbing the vitamin to begin with. And vitamin D is not really a vitamin, it's actually more of a hormone. So you'll need to talk with your doctor as far as the levels of and the amounts of vitamin D to take. But vitamin D should be taken, and vitamin D3 should be taken with K2. The reason being, vitamin D and D3, they actually it helps your body to absorb more calcium. But then you want to make sure that that calcium goes into areas of your body that it should go, such as your bones and your teeth. You don't want extra calcium going into your arteries and creating what's called calcification, before going into tissues. So, to help drive that calcium into your bones, that's what vitamin K2 does. So when you're taking a supplement, speak to your doctor, but also make sure that you're taking vitamin D3 with K2. And there's many forms of vitamin D3. You can take it as a liquid, or you can also take it as a cream that you rub into your body and through your skin. That's called a transdermal cream, and that's absorbed into your bloodstream straight away. So for those of you who are having issues with absorbing nutrients because maybe perhaps the health of your gut or a lot of inflammation in the gut or overgrowth of bad bacteria and bugs in your gut, transdermal creams are a great option. So, and also, I just wanted to bring another point about exercise, and that is make sure you're not pushing yourself when you exercise and doing anything that has too much exertion. And the reason that's important is if you're exerting yourself too much, it's too intense of an exercise, that will actually stress your body out more, create more stress hormones, and create more free radicals. Now, everyone's tolerance point for exercise varies person to person. There is no one size fits all. But when you're feeling completely depleted and exhausted and drained after your exercise, that's an indication that you may need to step back a little bit and then, reevaluate how intense your exercise should be. But no matter what, be sure to exercise. Can't emphasize that enough. So now what we'll do is move into the question and answer portion, and my brother will join it. And here he is.
Hello, everyone. So, hope you enjoyed that presentation by my sister, Dr. Chari, on 5 steps to boost your immune system. So now I'm going to check to see the comments uh, in our chat room here to see if there's everything's going good. So let's see. Yeah. So I'm looking for some questions. So some people are just looking to see like what are some things I can do to other things I can do to boost my immune system or
Mhm.
uh, so if you want to.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, again, remember the foundation of boosting your immune system goes back to wonderful nutrition. But even prior to that, and this is what we've seen as well, is that despite taking a lot of supplements and doing things, I mean, which is also very important, supplements, of course, are very important because in this current day and age, our soil, has been depleted. And there's many reasons for this. In addition to the overuse of a lot of pesticides, fungicides, herbicides, so it's really important then to supplement, but and the types of supplements vary person to person, and you'll need to speak with with your healthcare practitioner about that. But managing your emotional stress, especially with in light of what's going on in our current day and age, I can't emphasize enough because stress alone can create inflammation in your gut. It can cause an overgrowth of bad bacteria, parasites, yeast. It can weaken the immune system. It can lead to lowering of levels of your hormones. So all of these factors alone, can really impact the health and your health and vitality. So it's really important to manage your stress. And, we shared with you a powerful, even though it looks simple, but a powerful technique, which is breathing. Because another thing I want to emphasize is that with exercise, with I should say, with your circulation, our heart is the pump to move our blood throughout our body. But for our lymph system, which you can consider kind of like the vacuum cleaner of our body, which sucks out all the toxins and clears it out of our body, the pump for our lymph system is movement and breathing. So that's why it's so important to breathe and get outside as well whenever possible. And then again, going back to, healthy nutrition is the foundation, making sure you go shopping. Be sure you go shopping and prepare wholesome foods. And then taking some of the supplements that I addressed, like some vitamin C, liposoma would be the best, and then vitamin D with vitamin D3, K2, and other supplements are there as well. Magnesium is very helpful, and especially in this day and age, We're under a lot of stress, and so magnesium is really needed for practically for so many different aspects of our nervous system, immune system, to enhance our quality of sleep, because sleeping deeply and well is helps you regenerate and boost your immune system as well.
Wonderful, wonderful, fantastic, fantastic. All right. So hope you all enjoyed our presentation here today, and just wanted to let you know that we'll be doing this every Friday, and we also have our Chari Center Community Clinic on Saturday at 10 a.m. Pacific time. Besides our Chari Center Health Hour at 5 p.m. on Friday Pacific time. So we want you to join that for sure, and join our community clinic tomorrow actually at 10 a.m. as well. And to do that, all you have to do is text V Clinic to the phone number on the screen 888-111. Text V Clinic to 888-111, so you'll get the registration link to join our live clinic, which also has Q&A. It'll go very deep into what's going on in our current environment and how to protect yourself. And you'll also feel very supported as well with the Q&A. So
And
hope you can join us for that. Yes.
absolutely. And I'm seeing some more questions coming up. So, what I'd like to also emphasize is in our Saturday morning clinics is that what we want to really do is empower you. You know, the better informed you are, the more empowered you feel. And we want to really show you the light as well and to give you encouragement with despite everything that's happening in our current day and age. So please, please join us on Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. Pacific time. And again, that's texting V is in victory clinic. So V clinic at 888-1111. And so, some other questions people were asking is about the effects of meditation. And I don't know, Deepak, would you want to answer that question?
Sure. Meditation is very good. I mean, I encourage it 10 minutes, 2 or 3 times a week, because it definitely lowers your cortisol level and boosts your immune system, two of the things we need, especially in our current environment. And because once you lower your cortisol level, the inflammatory response drops, and you're less immune to get any kinds of illnesses and things like that as well. So it's very important to do that. So I encourage, 10 to 15 minutes of meditation, 3 times a week is fantastic. And you can use the breathing technique I shared with you as well, because I think you'll find that very, very effective. The special breathing technique I shared with you. So um, breathing, so definitely review that as well. Okay. So
And
wonderful.
and
Yeah.
so and then the other thing with regards to meditation is there's many, many, many different techniques. But one thing want to emphasize very strongly is that the best meditation technique is the best meditation technique that works for you. There is no one size fits all, and there never is just one size fits all. And for some of you, you like more intense meditation techniques. Others, it may seem too aggressive, and with as far as doing really intense breathing exercises. And we showed you a very gentle one because we tend to be more moderate and found that it works really effectively. But depending on your personality, your style, you may be drawn to different types of meditation. And also for me personally, I love the sound of running water. So even as I'm washing dishes, I'm not saying it's my most favorite thing to do in the world, but what I've made it kind of transformed it is into meditation. So when the water's running and I'm washing the dishes, I make that kind of my meditation time as well. And because so know that meditation can be done anywhere, any place, anytime, even if you're sitting as a passenger in a car, you can just close your eyes or even just look around you and see the beauty around you. And another thing is when you're going for walks as well, we recommend really, well, it's up to you, of course, but avoid wearing, headphones and just really take in nature. The sounds of nature, they are so healing. And what we're realizing now is that the frequencies produced by the trees, even by the wind, by all of the plants, are extraordinarily healing to the body. And they're making, you can download from YouTube different frequencies that, you know, are very powerful. And of course, you can, download into your iTunes, you can download different songs that have special frequencies in them. But there's still nothing that compares to actually being in nature. And at least now we're able to get back on the beaches. And even though we can't sit in one place, but at least you can walk up and down the beaches. The sound of the ocean is extraordinarily powerful. Those sounds create such a deep resonance within our body. And the earth frequencies and the Schumann frequencies are very, very grounding for us. Very, very grounding, because most of us, with all of the frequencies we're being exposed to, that can actually increase our anxiety. But when you walk on the beach or just walk in nature, even if it's in your neighborhood, be sure to just take a look at the beautiful trees around and the flowers. Nature is always communicating to us. But because we're so busy, we tend to not notice that. But really, really take that in, and that can be really, really powerful. And
Fantastic, fantastic.
and
So
let
yeah,
me
some of
see.
the comments are that the text is it's 888-111, correct? Because I think one of the people said it was 8811.
Oh, sorry. Yes, it's V for Victory Clinic and 888-111.
Yes, because someone thought it was 8811. So just to clarify that, you're seeing a little sun glare on my face there. So hopefully that made
Let's
sense.
let me
And
see. And okay,
yes,
there's a couple other points that I'll make here that are
yes.
very, very important. But before I do, Deepa, do you want to share anything else with regards to stress management or
Well,
from
I
an
think those are,
emotional point of view?
yes. Well, your emotions affect everything. I mean, you can take all the supplements you want, but if you don't deal with your emotions, eventually it'll affect you. It'll affect your immune system, because it's how you deal with things or how you not deal with things that'll eventually affect your immune system and affect your cortisol level and affect how your white blood cells work and everything else in your body. So ultimately, you have to go to the root of what is causing my stress. And essentially exactly what I do in our center. I use advanced voice biofeedback technologies, which is super advanced. Using the sound of your voice, I can detect where that stress is, even if you don't even yourself really know where it's coming from. And I send you specific harmonics of sound that will literally neutralize those effects and clear them out of your system permanently. I mean, in a very effective long term way, I should say, um, so that you don't get triggered emotionally by those things that used to upset you. And of course, there can be many layers of stress. So let's say you clear some layers of stress with me, then there may be layers of stress below that emotionally that are there that have been there since you were a kid that are released. So it's a process that happens over a period of time, but you can release these triggers and affect your which will boost your immune system, and then you'll tend to heal faster. So yes, emotions cause stress, which eventually cause what we're talking about today. And that's why we are talking about the 5 tips to improve your immune system, and one of them is managing stress. So I hope that answered that question.
Absolutely. Because our perceptions determine how we view the world. And that is molded based on, our life experiences from childhood, as well as, believe it or not, from our ancestors, our parents and grandparents. So all of that then forms and shapes, excuse me, how we view the world. And then that'll determine how we react to stress as well. So that's why it's really important to see how we can shift our perception, which can then change our outlook into how we view the world. And then some other points I wanted to bring out as far as what else we can do with regards to boosting our immune system is there's so many things, and there's plenty of herbs that are really very powerful. And in Ayurveda, which is an ancient medical science from India, in addition, they talked about and have talked about the importance of specific herbs. And there's one called Triphala. Triphala. And the reason that's very important, it helps to balance the immune system. So if it's underactive, it tends to bring it up. And if it's overactive, it tends to regulate it, or what they call modulate it, to bring it back to balance again. Because the most important part of our immune system is that it's not overactive or not underactive. And our immune system will become overactive or underactive, again, depending on our nutrition, management of stress, toxins, if we're not getting the adequate vitamins and minerals and nutrients and fatty acids. All of these things can shape the health of our immune system. And believe it or not, 70 70% plus of portion of your immune system resides in your gut. And here's what's even more fascinating is over 5,000 years ago, cultures in the East already knew that, wrote about it, and discussed what can be done about it. And that's what to me is actually unbelievably amazing, because only just now we're really starting to get into the science and doing stool testing and so on to really evaluate the health of our gut. And believe me, we're in our infancy into understanding the complexity of the gut and what they call the gut microbiome, which is the balance of the good and bad bacteria. We're just beginning to touch and tap into that. But way back then, all of the ancient cultures, they talked about fermented foods and digestive health and what to eat to increase your hydrochloric acid to break down food, bile, which is produced by your liver to help you break down food and cleanse out your liver and body for that matter, and help your gallbladder to pump out that bile, and also in general digestive enzymes and how to prepare food and what to eat. So digestive health is very important. And again, because of our current day and age, between stress and the chemicals that are being sprayed in our food, and also genetically modified foods, all of these things are impacting the health of our gut, which is then impacting the health of our immune system. So remember, gut health comes first. So that's why it's going back to, again, managing your stress, getting, wonderful fresh fruits and vegetables, organic as much as possible, and healthy fats and oils from the health food store. And if you're eating meat, make sure you're getting organic sources of meat. That's very important. Very, very important. And then also then the other keys are how we eat. So we're tending to watch the news or looking at our phones or things like that as we're eating, but make it a very relaxing time to be with your loved ones, to really connect, because that's so important in this day and age, is connecting with other people. And even if you're living alone, play beautiful music in the background, something that makes you feel very relaxed, because the more relaxed you are, the more enhanced your digestive system will be. They say rest and digest. When we're stressed out, our body is saying, okay, we need to either fight that saber-toothed tiger or run away as quickly as possible. So your body is saying, okay, digestion can take a backseat. But when we're in a restful state, so even just taking a couple of deep breaths before you eat, soothing and relaxing breaths, can make a world of a difference in how effective your digestion is, even regardless of whether you take digestive enzymes or not. So remember to keep it simple. And again, avoid electronics when you're eating. Take a couple deep breaths before you eat. Play nice, relaxing music. Make eating a form of meditation. And if you're alone, make it a beautiful time of meditation. And if you're with others, make it a time to reconnect with your families. That's so important now more than ever.
Fantastic, fantastic. And I know we have a way of introducing kind of what we do overall at the Chari Center of Health. We have a kind of introductory little mini video. Should we show that, or we should just close with our previous one?
Oh, yes. Well, I just saw another Dr. Tamarisa. Well, wonderful. Wonderful to have you all join us here today.
Oh yes,
So,
yes,
great question is
yes.
that, yes, thank you for bringing that up. Chewing is critical. That is so true. Most of us, and I'm guilty of this too, is getting the food down as quickly as possible so I can take care of the next thing on the list. But really sitting down, making eating a form of meditation, chewing your food thoroughly, because the first step in digestion actually takes place in your mouth when you release the saliva, which is starting the process of breaking down your food. But also, when you start chewing your food, it's also sending a signal from your brain to your stomach to start releasing digestive juices and enzymes and bile to start the process of digestion. So then when that food from your mouth, which is should be turning into a liquid, gets down into your stomach, that food is then broken down much better and is absorbed and what they say call assimilated, which means it's then taken into your bloodstream, so then it can be taken into your cells. So ultimately, you want these nutrients getting into your cells because your cells are like mini me's. They're like mini yous, I should say. They're taking in the nutrients, generating energy, and then pushing out toxins. So, but all of that starts from digestion. That's why digestion is so important. Cannot emphasize that enough. So make sure that again, treat eating and your meals and even preparing your food. Our mom, when she cooks, she always prays before cooking and while she's cooking to put that beautiful energy into the food. And I'm not much of a cook. Our family knows this very well. But even when I do prepare whatever I may prepare, because of seeing how our mom always does this, I've started praying when actually cooking, and that love that goes into the food, the intention of what you're putting forth when you're cooking is just as important as whatever organic foods and veggies that you're actually preparing. Very important. And again, this dates back thousands of years. It's things that, frankly, took for granted, but now I'm really realizing also the profound science behind it as well.
Yes. And a follow-up question Dr. Tamarisa said is, oh, someone commented in the room there. Uh, Barry commented, if I may say so. Your mom is awesome. Thank you, Barry,
Thank you.
my childhood friend. Great to hear from him. Thank you, Barry. Um, Dr. Tamarisa also mentioned, how do you choose the choose the trifella? I'm familiar with the product combined with magnesium, which I use to treat constipation.
Yes, absolutely. And that'll vary person to person because some people can be pretty sensitive to it. So, I tend to start with low doses and then kind of work our way up depending on their reaction. Because depending on how long they may have had the issue and their underlying dysbiosis, and dysbiosis is basically the imbalance of good and bad bacteria that can all affect your digestion. And that's why it's very interesting also is talking about digestion. Another medical doctor had told me some time ago, she goes, we're all looking for the number one probiotic. And what she said is that we've lost our, some of our ancestral, I should say, or a very long history of what was done before to really increase the good bacteria. And that goes back to, again, she said, resting before eating, chewing the food very thoroughly. And if you need to, of course, you can take digestive enzymes or betaine hydrochloride, which can, gives you the acid to help you digest food, but also bitters. When you eat things that are bitter, and in different states in India, they have different foods that they eat before eating the main meal to kind of stimulate the digestive juices. And what many people told us is that in one state in South India known as Tamil Nadu, they actually eat a lot of beets. And the reason they eat a lot of beets is to really help release bile, to help breaking down the food, in addition to helping circulation and all of the other nutritious benefits. And then in Europe, what they do is they eat bitter salads before eating their main meal. And, not like the iceberg lettuce salads that we grew up with in the Midwest, doused with, lots of dressing. which I still miss, believe me. But it's they eat a lot of bitters and bitter lettuces, which then really stimulate the digestive system. So every culture around the world really emphasized, bitters, fermented foods, um, to help with both digestion, and the fermented foods then give you a lot of the fiber as well. And of course, vegetables give you fiber, and the prebiotics, which is the food for these bugs to eat so they can flourish. Because believe it or not, each and every one of us has our own entire universe in our gut.
Fascinating, fascinating, fantastic, fantastic.
And
Um,
another
that,
sense or
yes.
question here, I can see.
What about drinking water with meals or before or after? Does it dilute your own digestive enzymes? That's a great question, Dr. Tamarisa.
Yes, great question and great point. A lot of us, we're used to having that big glass of ice water before, and during our meals. And so, one thing is, ice water will actually constrict the blood vessels in your stomach so they won't produce as much of the juices and enzymes that you would need. So, that's one thing. But drinking water at least 30 minutes before a meal, a nice or to an hour at the most. But drinking a glass of water 30 minutes to an hour before your meal actually gives you a lot of fluid to actually help your body generate more digestive juices and to help you digest the food better. And then wait for maybe an hour or so after your meal before you really drink a lot of water. But during your meal, you can sip on, ideally, room temperature water. And so, we're used to drinking a lot of or chugging a lot of water when eating our meals, but that actually dilutes the digestive juices and you won't be able to absorb those nutrients as well. So wait until maybe an hour or so afterwards to drink more water. And then, even to help you digest food better, you can drink like ginger tea and peppermint tea. Ginger tea is very good for also releasing gas, as well as helping the digestive system and bring some extra heat. Peppermint tea may be more suitable to others because it has more cooling effect, but still, and can release spasms in the bowels, but also helps with digestion as well. And then, yeah, so great question.
That was a great question. Yeah. All right. So,
And
again,
also, then thank you,
great.
Tracy and Bonnie, and Aaron for your lovely comments as well. Um, but yes, so that covers it. And are there any other particular questions?
Any other
And
questions in
hi,
the chat
Deepak.
room? Okay. Think looks
So
like
please be sure to join us tomorrow.
yes. Please join us tomorrow. I'll go ahead and you want to text 888-111 so you can get the link for that for our Saturday Chari Center Virtual Community Clinic, which with also live Q&A, where we go very in depth into what's going on in our current environment and extremely informative with live Q&A. So anyway, go ahead and text that to get signed up for that. And is there any other comments you'd like to make, Dr. Chari?
Um, that was pretty much it. And then tomorrow we're going to go, into more depth of the current world situation. But remember the foundations for health, and please get outside. I cannot emphasize that enough. Again, tomorrow morning I'm going to go into a little bit more depth with regards to everything regarding the current COVID situation. But remember, fresh air and sunshine, eating a healthy, nutritious diet, stress management, taking supplements. But again, speak to your doctor about it regarding the type of supplement and the dosage, which is going to be based on your, medical history, other medications you may be on, and so forth. And that's very important. But some fundamentals are vitamin C, vitamin D3, and K2, and magnesium. And also, just to let you know, we tend to use a magnesium spray because
Yeah.
then we don't have to worry about it going through the bowels. And sometimes magnesium can create more loose stools. And if someone has already an issue with that, that can be more problematic. So we just spray it again on the skin, on your neck, on your back. We all use this before we go to bed at night. and sometimes in the morning as well before heading out to work. It relaxes the muscle, takes the stress out, and magnesium, is really important in so many enzymatic processes in the body, but it's so important for your heart health, for blood sugar balance, for immune system support, and bone health, and so on. So all are very, very important. So
Yes, yes. The
thank you.
magnesium spray is something absolutely great question. The magnesium spray is something I use every night, and I sleep just like a baby, fantastic every night. Um, so that's been very helpful. Dr. Emerisa said, my husband wants to know about drinking warm water in the morning.
Excellent point. Excellent point. Yes, yes, definitely. That's one very simple, easy to do trick. Again, that was used by the ancients as well, is to drink some warm water first thing in the morning. That really helps with having a good bowel movement. It flushes toxins, because what happens when we sleep is that we're regenerating and rejuvenating our bodies. And also, there's different time periods during the night where different organs are also releasing toxins and rebuilding. And so in the morning, you want to really flush all of that out. So drinking warm water is one of the simplest, most profound ways of doing that. And also that way, you're not dependent on caffeine, to which at this day and age, with all the stress we're under, can be pretty depleting for our adrenal glands. So water is nourishing and actually rebuilds your adrenal glands in addition to cleansing you out. So yes, thank you. Excellent point. And the ancients also, what they would do is next to their bed, keep some high quality copper glass next to them, and fill it with water and then drink that in the morning. And it's not necessarily something you have to do every day, but in addition, everyone's been talking about zinc, which is wonderful for the immune system, but copper is equally important, and it's always very important to keep those ratios in balance. So copper itself is a powerful, powerful disinfectant and helps with bacteria and viruses.
Wonderful. And Dr. Tamarisa said, thank you for those awesome, insightful tips. So thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. And we really appreciate all of you being here today. And
Yes.
remember, every Friday at 5 p.m. Pacific time, we're going to be having our Chari Center Health Hour. And we'd love for you to join us. And please share this with your friends and your family. We'd love for them to be a part of our weekly TV show, and then mom will be also sharing some recipes, and we'll be bringing that forth as well, and ancient wisdom. So
Yes. Yes. Um, there are some other questions by Sita. Hello, Sita. How are you? We will address those in the Saturday call. So this is more what we're talking about for health tips you can do right now, but we'll address those in the Saturday call. So I
yes,
think
we'll go
that
much more in depth
but much
tomorrow
more
with
in
that.
depth. Yeah, much more in depth on those questions you had. Um, so we will definitely talk about those things in that call. So definitely tune into that call, Sita, and then you will get the answers to those questions. Wonderful. So I hope
Absolutely.
you all enjoyed this presentation here, our first Chari Center Chari Center presentation here. So we will have these every Friday, the Chari Center Health Hour. So if there's no other questions, then is there any other comments you'd like to make, Dr. Chari?
Well, again, just want to thank you all from the bottom of our hearts for joining us on our very first show. And we look forward to bringing you very pertinent information and practical, because I don't know about you, but I can speak for us, is that if it's not simple, I probably, even though it looks very nice logistically to do it, but if it's too complicated, I won't do it. We have enough on our plate as it is. So we want to bring you very simple, practical tips to really enhance the quality of your life for you and your loved ones. So again, please let everyone know about our show, which we'll be doing weekly. And we're so happy that you joined us live. And for those of you, we really appreciate it. And for those of you who are watching the replay, we want to thank you also for taking the time to join us here today.
Wonderful. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. And we hope to see you again next every Friday at 5 p.m. Pacific time. And of course, we'd love to see you tomorrow on our Chari Center Community Clinic call with live Q&A tomorrow at 9 a.m. Pacific time.
Or
So,
10 a.m.
or sorry, 10 a.m. Pacific time.
Yeah.
So tomorrow, Saturday at 10 a.m. Pacific time, and then every Friday for our Chari Center hour. So, all right, wonderful, everyone. Thank you for coming here, and we'll see you again. Take care, everyone.
Take care.